The new look Golden State Warriors are a problem. As you all know, the Warriors have made some big moves this offseason, and they had their first preseason game against the Los Angeles Lakers where they smoked them 108 to 125. In today's video, we're going to be going through the different key takeaways from this new Golden State Warriors team that make them a problem for next season and also help them win another NBA championship. So make sure to like this video, and guys, 92% of you are still not subscribed to the channel, so it would mean the world if you could subscribe to the channel, hitting that red button down below. The first is none other than Chris Paul. Now, as you all know, Chris Paul has been the new addition and the biggest new addition to this Golden State Warriors team, and with a lot of people thinking that this wouldn't work, it does seem that Chris Paul has fit very nicely to the Warriors roster and absolutely played his heart out in the first game. Now, Chris Paul did only get 13 minutes in that first game against the Los Angeles Lakers of the preseason, but he was able to get 6 points, 5 assists, and also 4 rebounds, and that is what we are expecting from Chris Paul when it comes to playing with this Warriors team. We are expecting him to have a very even stat line when it comes to points, rebounds, and assists, but on top of that, he definitely adds a lot more structure to this Warriors team, and you definitely saw that in the most recent preseason game. Now, when it comes to CP3, I think he is going to have a big role in this team, whether he's coming off the bench or whether he's a starter. He's definitely going to be that X factor that the Warriors need to get them past the hump and make it back into an NBA Finals position. Now, what I love most about Chris Paul playing in that first preseason game was definitely the fact that CP3 did open up a lot of more opportunities for Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and also Andrew Wiggins. And I think this is going to be the biggest asset that CP3 adds to this Warriors team. With CP3 having such a great mid-range game and also being a good scorer, can give you 15 to 20 points, it does have a lot of defenses unable to double on Steph Curry, double on Klay Thompson, which leaves someone like them open. Now, Steph Curry, if he has one defender on him, he is going to cook him every single day of the week, and that is what CP3 does. He drags a lot of attention to himself and dishes it off to someone like Curry on the 3, and that is definitely what Steve Kerr was hoping for when they decided to acquire CP3. Now, Chris Paul in the most recent season for the Phoenix Suns did average 13.9 points, 8.9 assists, and also 4.3 rebounds. So we could be expecting a similar stat line to CP3 in this next upcoming season. We are going to be seeing Chris Paul in the starting lineup, and like it's been rumored, we may also see Klay Thompson play that power forward position. When it comes to that, I think it is going to be super interesting because in that preseason game, they actually ranked Chris Paul, Curry, Looney, Klay Thompson, and Wiggins as their starting 5. So it will be interesting to see whether they run this sort of small ball lineup in the upcoming season. The second is that Jonathan Kuminga has proved himself to be a great role player for this Warriors team. Now, as you all know, Jonathan Kuminga was on the chopping block on getting traded this offseason, but it does seem that they are going to give Kuminga one more year, or pretty much half the season before the trade deadline, to see whether he can actually contribute to this team and help them win another NBA championship. And Kuminga definitely showed out in the first game of the preseason against the Los Angeles Lakers, where he dropped 24 points, 4 assists, and also 8 rebounds, and he also did this in 24 minutes of game time. And I think this was fantastic to see, to show that Jonathan Kuminga definitely can bowl out with the best of them, and it definitely does show that he can also score, rebound, and assist. And I think this is what makes Kuminga so good. He stands at 6'8", 210 pounds, and he is still only 21 years of age, but his all-around play style definitely makes him really dangerous on all sides of the floor, and that is something that the Warriors definitely need. Even the things that don't show up in the stat sheet, such as, defensive presence and also the way he contests shots, it definitely does show that when you watch the game, you see Kuminga definitely has a control of the defense and offense as well when he's out there on the floor. And I do believe this is going to pay huge dividends for Golden State Warriors because he is going to be given a bigger role next season. Now, obviously, Gary Payton II didn't play this game as much, and they did give it to Kuminga to play a little bit more, and he definitely showed out and showed his potential when it comes to this team moving forward. I think Kuminga is going to have that starting power forward / small forward role-playing role. I think he is going to be a 6-man in this sense as well, and we could see him get, anywhere from 25 minutes above in this next upcoming season. And I think it is going to be surprising to see what a lot of people are going to see from someone like Kuminga, especially still at only 21 years of age. The third is Dario Saric being a perfect fit for the Golden State Warriors. Now, as you all know, Dario Saric is also a recent pickup from the Warriors this offseason, and he was able to really show out in the most recent game where he was able to get 6 points, 3 assists, and also 4 rebounds in only 15 minutes of game time. Now, I think Dario Saric is a fantastic pickup for the Golden State Warriors. One, not only just because they got him for very cheap, but also he does have playing experience with Chris Paul and is also a scoring big man, which is something that the Warriors desperately needed. Now, when it comes to last season, they did get knocked out by the Los Angeles Lakers, and where I do believe they really struggled a lot is not having a scoring type big man, which is something that Dario Saric definitely adds to this team. Now, Dario Saric last season actually averaged for Oklahoma City Thunder 7.4 points, also 0.9 assists and 3.3 rebounds. But on top of this, he's a great three-point shooter, averaging 40% from the three, which I think is fantastic, and I think this is going to have a huge effect on Dario Saric when it comes to playing with the Warriors. They definitely need a big man that can space out the floor, and that is something that Saric brings, and I think even in only 15 minutes of game time to get 4, 3, and 6 in that first game, it definitely does show that he does fit the bill and fit the play style of what they are trying to do. On top of that, Dario Saric is 6'10", and it does make him one of the taller players on this team due to the fact that last season they were a little bit more shorter. So now that they get a taller player, 225 pounds, and Dario Saric is only 29 years of age, so he's definitely in those peak years of playing NBA, it does definitely see that Dario Saric can be a great fit for the Warriors, especially when it comes to being that role-playing big man. Now, we may see times that Dario Saric is going to be in the starting lineup, and Steve Kerr has mentioned this in the past, that he is looking to mix things up and shake things up when time is right. So don't be surprised if you see Saric getting, 10, 15 point games and also, starting the game as well. So I think that is going to be a very interesting sight to see due to the fact that the Warriors are really creating a team that's very all-rounded and that can all mesh really well. The fourth is that Stephen Curry is playing like an all-out MVP. Now, as you all know, Stephen Curry is coming into this next season at 35 years old, and a lot of players do believe that he could be near the end tail of his career. But Stephen Curry did show that he's still very young, can definitely still score and shoot that three ball. And I think that is something that is going to surprise a lot of people this upcoming season, but I am calling it right now. I think Stephen Curry has the opportunity to win the season MVP. One of the reasons why I do believe this is that Stephen Curry can still score as insane as he did back in his peak years of 2015 of 2016. Last season, he actually averaged 29.4 points, 6.3 assists, and also 6.1 rebounds. And the last time he put up those types of numbers were back in 2016. So it does show that Steph Curry has been aging like fine wine, and I think he can definitely do it again this upcoming season due to the fact that now that Chris Paul is here, it can definitely free up a lot more opportunities for Stephen Curry to score. I can definitely see him averaging more than 30 points this upcoming season, still getting the same amount of rebounds and assists, and I think it is going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. Now, you got to remember as well, Steph Curry with his high volume three-point shooting is also averaging last season 43% from the three-point line, and if he does put up these same types of numbers with a little bit of that bump due to the fact that Chris Paul is here now, I think he definitely has a great opportunity to win an MVP, especially if the Warriors are high up in those rankings. Now, Steph Curry is 6'2", 185 pounds, and is 35 years old. Now, he may be playing that shooting guard position at times as Chris Paul has been moved to the starting lineup for some time now, but I do believe it is going to pay dividends in the long run due to the fact that CP3 is going to attract a lot of attention and leave Curry open for even easier shots. Over the last 2 or 3 years, Curry has faced some of the hardest defenders in the world, getting double team, maybe even triple team just to get a shot off, and now he won't really need to worry about that much this season due to the fact that there is just so many scorers out there in this Warriors team. It could definitely be dangerous for a lot of other teams, and I think this is going to pay a lot of dividends in the future, especially when it comes playoff time, due to the fact that they know that they can't double on Steph Curry all the time, as it leaves other players open. So Steph Curry is going to have himself a great season, and I do believe if he does give it his all, he can definitely win the MVP. The fifth is Moses Moody improving drastically this off season. Now, when it comes to Moses Moody, he stands at 6'6", 205 pounds, and is 21 years old, and he had a huge role for the Golden State Warriors last season, where he averaged 4.8 points, 1.7 rebounds, and 0.8 assists. Now, those numbers may not seem like anything big. Now, he was only averaging around 13 minutes per game, but it does seem that Moses Moody has going to be stepping up into a bigger role due to the fact that now that Dante DiVincenzo has left, that shooting guard position is now open for Moses Moody to take. Now, on top of that, Moody has had definitely need to improve on his scoring, and he definitely showed that in the most recent preseason game, where he averaged 15 points and also got 5 rebounds and also 2 assists. So I think this was fantastic to see from someone like Moses Moody, who isn't really generally a scorer, but was still able to put up great numbers all around. Now, his three-point percentage is great at 37% last season, but I do believe this upcoming season, with more volume to his shot, it's definitely very important for him to keep those same numbers, especially when it comes to efficiency. And I think he can definitely get it done. You know, everyone gets overlooked due to the fact that Jonathan Kuminga is kind of that main young star that the Warrior fans definitely watch, but Moses Moody has definitely been such a great asset to this team, especially on the defensive end, and where he really hasn't really shined most before is definitely in that offensive side. So this season I can definitely see a huge offensive increase from Moses Moody, and I can definitely see it really paying dividends for the future, especially when they need him the most during playoff and finals time. So when it comes to Moody, I think he is going to have a much bigger role, not only just on the floor, but just also specifically on the offensive end. He's definitely going to have to give 5 to 10 points per game if they want a chance at winning a championship next season, and I think this is going to be super important for his career.